Recently I received the Switch and managed to get my hands on a couple of games. Unfortunately, I don't have a capture device and I don't want to have to steal footage constantly from multiple sources. So I'm going to try a new format and keep the reviews short and simple. These reviews will be done in 5 minutes or less. Link's Awakening is the definitive version of this title and joins the short list of remakes that are actually pretty good and faithful to the original, like Resident Evil and Metroid Zero Mission. The greatest departure and source of controversy is the art style with its plastic diorama look. While it may not appeal to all, it is pretty well done. A lot of effort went in it, and you'll notice modern graphical techniques like bloom and depth of field. It's not a randomly chosen art style, there's actually effort within it. Gameplay wise, it mostly plays the same, with a few quality of life features and more content. There is no photo quest but a mini dungeon builder instead. It was fun enough to get the mandatory heart pieces. As for those aforementioned quality of life changes, the biggest was the addition of another item slot. You still use the feather item to jump a lot, the only Zelda game where you can do that. So in reality, you have only one space, as you never really want to swap it out. The level of switching you have to do is still pretty low compared to the original. The rest of the quest design is pretty unique. This game likes breaking Zelda conventions. Even getting into the dungeon is a challenge and requires interaction with NPCs and going on quests. However, you can feel the Game Boy roots. Some moments of the game become pretty obtuse. You have the option to ask for a hint, and you might do it more than once. You feel clever at times, and at others you just had to wander and find someone or something around the area. It's not that bad, but it slows down the pace a bit. Overall, the experience is pretty solid, and that follows the music. Some of the tracks are remade in a way that's a bit subdued, but overall everything is pretty solid and much more elaborate and bombastic than previously. This is a case of the evolution of technology actually brings something new to the experience. You're not just dealing with beeps and bloops anymore. Speaking of technology, there are some performance issues. The game plays at a pretty steady 60 FPS, but from what I gathered, the game suffers from memory leaks, and so when the scene is pretty crowded, especially when transitioning from screens, you have momentary slowdowns. Distracting, short-lived, not game-breaking, but a bit disappointing for a first-party Nintendo game. The Switch is infamous for its third-party games performance, ranging from sorcery to absolute disgrace. One constant was that first party was always on point, but not this time. No patch has been issued. It's still playable, but be aware of it. Link's Awakening is this weird title. After every mainline title, I noticed that Nintendo manages to make a weird one. Ocarina was traditional, then Majora followed up. Wind Waker breaks the chain, being two weird mainline titles in a row, but they really do alternate between normal, then weird, then normal. The idea that Link is far away from everything he knows and that everyone he meets are only the figments of a dreaming god is eerie. Less in a dark way like Majora, and more in a melancholic point of view. The title is pretty unique and deserves to be tried. My only real issue is the price point. I managed to get it at a discount, but it's usually at MSRP. Switch games don't go down easy. I know Nintendo doesn't devalue their titles, but other remakes are coming out at a discount. The only time that's not true where they're dealing with more of a reimagining like RE2. Being a one-to-one thing, full price is a bit steep. Despite the price, the game is still worth your time and definitely in my top 5 Zelda games now.